This conference will now be recorded.
Hey, everybody. It's Dr. Doug Smith. It's 1 o'clock on Thursday. This is our last podcast of the week. We are here Monday through Thursday at 1 o'clock. We keep it short, 4, 5, 6, 8 minutes, something like that. And we tend to just go over a little bit of science at the time. And what we're doing is we're going through the citizens petition page by page. So if anybody has any questions, this is the place where you can get answers. And this citizens petition is a very important document. So we're going through now the scientific evidence for buprenorphine as an antidote. Okay, the scientific evidence for buprenorphine as an antidote. And today we want to start off with two questions. Okay, and they're on the screen right there in front of you. Okay, what happens when this vulnerable, genetically damaged population is denied access to buprenorphine? And what happens when this vulnerable, genetically damaged population is granted access to buprenorphine? That's what we're going to be going over for the next few days. Okay, we're going to be going over the scientific evidence of what happens when our people do not have access to buprenorphine, and what happens when our people do have access to buprenorphine. Okay, uh, when our people do not have access to buprenorphine, they're in a life-threatening emergency. They're in a life-threatening emergency medical condition. Okay, they are at risk of a rapid and imminent death. And the reason that our people are at risk of a rapid and imminent death is because when our people get sick, okay, our people who are genetically damaged, when they don't have access to buprenorphine and they become sick, they lose control of the nerves controlling their organs. And as we said before, you lose control of your sweat glands, that's uncomfortable. You lose control of your bowels, that's distressing. You lose control of your adrenal gland, and that thing will kill you. Okay, there is enough epinephrine, norepinephrine, and dopamine in the adrenal gland to kill you. Okay, how does it kill you? Very simply, it kills you with a catastrophic cardiovascular event. And so, what we're looking at right here is a study that was done in 2020, September 2020, by Dr. Liu and his team out of China. Okay, and what they did in the study is the simplest thing in the world. They got a bunch of laboratory rats. They put a little IV in them, and they gave them either sham, what they call sham, what we would call a control, or salt water. They gave the little mice either salt water or epinephrine or norepinephrine, or a combination of epinephrine and norepinephrine. Okay, they did not use dopamine in the study. Now remember, there are three adrenalines in the human body. You've got epinephrine, norepinephrine, and dopamine. This study was done with epinephrine and norepinephrine. So dopamine's not in the mix here. Okay, and what they found was in a matter of hours, you give toxic levels of adrenaline to these mice, and in a matter of hours, they're dead. Okay, and then when they died, they did autopsies on them to see what they died from, and they died from catastrophic cardiovascular failure. Horrible, horrible, horrible failure. Okay, some of these mice even went into pulmonary edema, particularly the ones with norepinephrine, and that's drowning on land. Okay, that's like being waterboarded. That's when your lungs fill up with water, and these rats died a horrible, horrible, tortured death, which is probably exactly what happened to our 3 million people. These were not gentle deaths, and that's the main message today. Okay, these were not gentle deaths. The people who died from a catastrophic cardiovascular event because of adrenaline toxicity while in opioid withdrawal, they died a tortured, tormented death. Okay, it's wrong that they died. It's wrong that they were genetically damaged. It's wrong that they were denied a proper diagnosis. It's wrong that they were called uh, opioid addicts and drug addicts. It's wrong that they weren't given genetic testing. Um, but the way that they died is awful. It's horrible. Basically, their heart they went into heart failure. Their hearts just failed. Why? Because epinephrine, norepinephrine, dopamine, the catecholamines, the adrenalines, whatever you want to call them. These are very powerful molecules, very powerful organic molecules that your body uses in cases of life or death. And yes, these epinephrine and norepinephrine more than have the ability to push your heart into failure, because you're trying to get away from whatever it was you're running away from, the bear or the tiger or whatever. You're trying to save your life. And so no, there's no governor on the throttle switch here. These molecules have the ability to run the heart all the way into heart failure. So that's what I wanted to cover today. We'll pick up here again next week. Remember, like and subscribe us. Post these videos on your social media, everybody else's social media, and everybody have a great weekend. And we will see you here next week. My name is Dr. Doug Smith.